framing Thatcher in the 80s. Is there anything more behind it than just diverting the public funnel to Friends?
I'm not sure I would go along with the idea that it was. I mean, that would sound like it was a very strategic, thought-through set of policies. But I think privatisation, the rationale behind it has changed over time. Actually, I think Thatcher. I mean, people forget Thatcher didn't really privatise very much in her first term. She was fighting other battles, but. And it was a very slow, step-by-step process. And I think clearly Thatcher wanted to take on the unions. She wanted to restore what she said, the right of management to manage after the 1970s. She wanted to take on the unions. She clearly didn't like the state being involved in the economy at all. She thought that the economy could be run like a small business, like her father's grocery shop or whatever it was. Yeah. And so she clearly had a kind of ideological aversion to all things public. So privatisation, I think, was being put forward from Tory think tanks in the.
Grocery shop.
Well, I think I don't know what the exact phrase was, but she used to compare running an economy with running a household or a small business, when in fact you can't compare.
No, I'm just saying, let me finish.
I was only about 18 years old at the time, so obviously I was growing up when all this was going on, and it was, personally I thought it was a very grey area. It was,
right,
the economy was right now, and it was nasty, and I remember my mother and father really struggling, trying to pay the mortgage, everything, and really struggling. My dad was working his back out, really. He ended up becoming a managing director of the company, and fortunately, you know, like the economy was a mess, but my dad actually did quite well. He thrived.
Thank you.
But I think it's an important point that privatisation was quite popular.
No,
because
there was a lot of people who were absolutely, they couldn't even pay the bills, anything. But unfortunately, that father could. So I came out of it quite well, fortunately. I don't know how, but you know, some people didn't. So anyway.
Thank you very much. We need to have a broad.
Sorry. You know, I'm just thinking because a lot of people seem to be a little bit older than me, so it's sorry. So I'm not being disrespectful, but it's just that I think
we've all got memories. We've all got memories.
All right.
No, older and wiser.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much. All right, this lady at the back.
Yeah, I 100% support the ideas of the future that you're putting forward, but I do wonder about whether the picture you're painting of today, I don't see this government putting anything into renewable energy. I think they give a nice handout to BT to phone everybody 10 times a day, and that's it. And I somewhere came across statistics on how many people had actually taken up the offer to do installation, and it was a dozen or something, something ridiculous. And the other big threat to the whole ethos of the public sector is the TTIP, which will just wipe it out like one roll. But the one that really bothers me most, because we're talking about changing language and how do we change it, is to notice what this government are doing to the third sector. And they are privatising. They are asking social enterprises to become social businesses, to take debt. They're forcing credit unions to take debt, to become big credit unions, and they will be using volunteers, right, to meet their debt. Now, what is that going to do to the ethos of the third sector? I was at a meeting about that the other day, and I ventured to say a question to somebody who was running a third sector organisation that hadn't taken the debt, I don't think, actually. It had been very lucky to start it. It was way on and got a lot of money given it at the beginning. And said, well, how does this fit with the old idea of the not-for-profit, which you mentioned in Germany? And I was told we don't talk about that here. That is where it's going. And the push to it is so huge that I think we need to, if we want to change the language, we've got to take that on board.
No, I agree. I mean, just to roll into the question here, I think there is still, I mean, this government is intent on shrinking the state about it, and that means, and that's got knock-on effects for the third sector as well, because of course one of the biggest clients of the third sector has been local state and state. Of course, you know, the whole big society agenda, I think a lot of people thought that might be an opportunity for the third sector, but of course most of the third sector is very much tied up with providing services already for government, local government anyway. So, and the things you're talking about, where basically people.
Do you know what the actual answer is?
Hey?
Do you actually know what the answer is?
The answer to.
Because I believe that the actual real answer is hilarious. That it's going to be the underclass again, the third party people, the people there being taxes and paying away for everybody else who is going to be there taking notes out of everybody's mouth. That's my verdict. What everybody else is.
But I mean, getting back to the point, I think the third sector is now seeing the same squeezes that have been on local government, kind of travelling out to the third sector, and it's an attack on wages and conditions of working. I mean, even to be forcing people into sort of voluntary work. But I mean, that's been happening to young people for quite a while, of course, with being encouraged to volunteer. There was